Where were you before starting the program with Lakewood University?
I had a real problem with drinking when I left the service. Thankfully, God got a hold of me and he had his grace on me, and I was able to get a liver transplant.
Where are you now? What are you doing now?
My coursework at Lakewood has turned into a potential $7 million real estate deal that I'm closing in my spare time.
Well, thank you so much, Myles, for coming on today and agreeing to talk about your time here at Lakewood University. I really want to thank you. I had the opportunity to speak with you before, but this is so special. I want to share your story with the world. Can you briefly describe what you do now?
I'm an employment services case manager with an organization called Volunteers of America in Massachusetts. Basically, what we do is support veterans at a lot of different spots in life, gaps in career training, resume development, job leads. That's kind of my grant, but our organization also assists with housing and all sorts of other things. So just working in veteran services, and then I operate a consulting firm on my own that's also kind of in the same field.
That sounds great. As you know, 80% of our students are veterans. So nice to hear that some other organizations are out there doing great things for the 1% that protects the 99% of us. Thank you for your service as well. Where were you before starting the program with Lakewood University?
I was kind of in between in my education. I got my undergrad before I joined the military back in 2005, 2009. So I've been out of academia for a little bit. I got out of the service, kind of figuring out what I was doing, went through a bit of a life change, and I was attending Arizona State for a brief semester. Just really wasn't, gelling with the coursework. Didn't love the environment, even though it's online. And so I was kind of looking for a change in direction. I found Lakewood University kind of on accident. Like I told you the other day, I had one conversation with Miss Love, and I was enrolled by the end. And honestly, I've just been fascinated with the ease of use for, especially as a veteran, which is why I'm now advocating for it amongst my clients at work and individually as well.
Well, thank you for that. Where are you now that you've come to Lakewood, and where are you now? What are you doing now?
We're in the process of closing on a house. My wife and I are actually moving just across the lake from where we are in Massachusetts now, back here in Plymouth. I kind of grew up here. My parents moved here when I was about 12 from Canada. I left after high school and did the whole thing, came back 20 years later, married my high school sweetheart. Now we're moving in, and it's a big thing. Finishing my MBA up here in the next, I think, 3 months at Lakewood, and then I'll be rolling into a doctorate at Liberty University as well. So I stay busy. Just a little bit, got a little bit of the ADD, and I just keep it all occupied and things get done.
I saw that you finished our project management program as well.
Yes, no, that was a great first step. That was actually the first thing that I found at Lakewood. It was perfect. Like I said, I operate my own little, trying to get my own business off the ground. Project management is something it's kind of a natural fit. If you were a leader or a non-commissioned officer in the military, you were a project manager. So that was kind of my first taste of really incorporating a lot of the lessons that I learned in the military. It doesn't really translate. I can conduct an ambush or a raid really well. I was a combat arms guy, but that doesn't necessarily translate the best to a sales meeting or a business meeting. So this coursework has really helped me kind of adapt even the same principles into more usable language.
I'm always interested in seeing how that military experience, and as you know, I'm a veteran myself, so this is near and dear to my heart to hear how our skills that we learn in the military, our discipline, our leadership transfer to academia. It's good to hear that.
Yeah, it's definitely something a lot of vets, I know specifically, it's something they probably they fear a little bit, right? The things that you guys offer appealed to me. Already done the college thing. I had an Animal House frat boy experience back at Seton Hall in the late 2000s. Did not want to go back to that as a late 30s guy. And, most of the vets, they have it in their mind. I don't know if you've seen the Steve Buscemi meme where it's, he's got the skateboard and the backwards hat. And it's like, how do you do, fellow kids? And that's what most vets feel like going into a classroom environment. This really, with the asynchronous nature of it, where it's up to you how you want to do in the course. And it's pretty straightforward. So I think it's a great program.
What challenges were you facing prior to coming to Lakewood?
Kind of glossed over it, but in between getting out of the military and now where I am at, buying a new house a couple of years later, I had a real problem with drinking when I left the service. COVID was not a good time for me, as it wasn't for everybody else. I just happened to come out of it yellow, which was not a good look. Thankfully, God got a hold of me, and he had his grace on me, and I was able to get a liver transplant. Didn't deserve it. So it's kind of where my vocation and kind of all of the things I'm working on now, they've all been steps towards, me just taking a new holistic approach to life. And Lakewood has just been a perfect fit for that. There's challenges for us in the military. Challenges can take different forms. It's maybe not a 12-mile or a 20-mile ruck that I do as a challenge anymore. But sometimes, even just getting your feet in this kind of weird civilian world where you're not insulated by the family of the military. That in and of itself is a challenge. And Lakewood has definitely been a huge asset in that. Just, maintaining status, and the GI Bill benefits are certainly nice.
How did your experience at Lakewood help you overcome any of those challenges?
Lakewood's been a huge piece. You mentioned the project management. I went from that and then progressed into the MBA program. And I chose the entrepreneur track. And basically, what I've done, my coursework at Lakewood has been stimulating my small business efforts. Everything I've done at Lakewood has been able to be tailored. I mean, you don't have to do a real business. I suppose you could do a fake business or whatever you wanted to do just for the coursework. But I was in the process of, looking at trying to acquire a camp. And now my coursework at Lakewood has turned into a potential $7 million real estate deal that I'm closing in my spare time.
Wow,
But
that's
that's
exciting.
that's where we're at, right? It's been really a godsend in terms of I'm a big efficiency guy. If I can knock out, 7 tasks at the same time, I love it. So progressing to a doctorate was always my goal. So getting the MBA that is actually helping me in my business checks a lot of blocks for me.
That's amazing. And congratulations on that as well. That's a big
We're
deal.
close. We're close. Yeah.
When will you know about that?
Well, our conversation yesterday was a big step in the right direction. If we are able to connect those kind of dots there, that would be a huge piece of that. So,
What surprised you most about your programs here at Lakewood University?
was curious to see how the online experience was. I graduated my undergrad back in 2009. So I think I took like maybe 1 or 2 online classes, and it was still early Blackboard for those that are in the academic world. They remember, so it was kind of a nightmare. I then was exposed to online learning all through the military. Any veteran knows you can click through it, or if you knew the F12 code, you could get in there and just bypass the whole course. So that was a whole thing. Maybe I'm spilling some trade secrets there. My time at Arizona State I didn't love it. So I was really kind of waiting to see, but it's been great. Just like I said, the ability to focus on one course at a time. That was a huge piece for me. I really liked that, and just structuring it throughout the semester that way, kind of the accessibility of whether it's admin for technical support or my success coach, Alicia, always very quick to respond. So it seems like almost a personalized education experience, which is fantastic, especially in today's day and age where we're connected but isolated. Being able to provide that level of kind of a personal interaction with your education, I think, is a really big part.
How has your life changed since completing? I think we went over it a little bit, but are there any other changes since completing the project management program and starting your MBA that you would like to speak about?
Just continue to progress. The other thing about Lakewood, it was kind of a no-brainer. I got out, I still had the GI Bill. I like to learn. If you're not learning, you're not progressing, you're not bettering yourself, then really what are you doing? That's a huge piece of my new sobriety life. Continually improving is something I think everybody should be trying to do. And it doesn't have to be a degree, but if you're doing something to make yourself better, and you can look at that over the whole picture of your life, gives you a little bit better perspective. So in terms of changes, I think there's always going to be changes, but as long as progress is your routine, then I think that's a pretty good baseline.
And I know when people ask me this question, I'm going to ask you, where do you see yourself in the next 6 to 12 months?
Well, let's see. If I was to go back over the last 3 years and even to parse those out in the 12 months, I wouldn't be able to tell you that I'm sitting where I am. So I don't know. But I can tell you based on what's scheduled right now, in the next 6 to 12 months, I hope I'll be about a semester into my doctorate program. I'll have the MBA done. And 6 to 12, I mean, we should be looking at potentially year 1 of this reimagined, re-envisioned camp that we're hopefully acquiring, myself and my business partner. So, you say it and you believe it and it happens. As long as you got the right guy on your side, then that's how I've been living the last few years, and it's been working out.
Well, thank you for sharing that, and we'll definitely be there to support you every step of the way. Please let us know when the camp opens so that we can be a part of that as well and spread the word. If someone else was considering Lakewood University, what would you tell them?
Well, I'm already telling them about Lakewood even before they're considering it. It's such a great program for veterans. And then what I learned yesterday is that you guys are actually also in working in conjunction with some of the other state organizations. There's a focus, and it's a needed focus, on education gaps, whether it's even young adults that may have had a high school education, the education to career gap that I see every day when I'm trying to get veterans jobs. It's huge. The services that you guys provide is immense. And then just as a veteran alone, the financial stability that can be brought by getting your tuition for free, you're bettering yourself at the same time, and you're also, for me, it's a little bit of income, right? I can't declare it on my taxes, but it sure helps every month when it's coming in. And that's a big part of my job as a case manager working in veteran services, is letting veterans know about benefits they didn't even realize they could use. And so this is definitely something that I recommend to a lot of my clients when it's a good fit for them.
And speaking of that, since you brought that up, did you have any difficulties using your GI Bill or getting your BAH on time while at Lakewood University?
No, and again, this is Queen. She's she's a stud. I called her. She was actually, I think, almost got me in on the VR&E, and then we were like, wait, we're going to use GI Bill first, and then you can use VR&E later. So she actually provided me with a lot of education on it. I'm now getting myself more educated as I'm helping other veterans. A little funny story. You asked how easy it was, right? Well, if your program finishes and then you were to move into a new one, there a lot of times will be a break or a gap. I experienced that. That was the Arizona State. I'm bad mouthing my old university, just didn't have a good experience there. The processing times, like I was waiting months and then I would get a bunch all at once. It'd be some more months and then it was just a mess, right? The first phone call I had with Queen, she had my benefits pulled up, let me know, hey, you're eligible and this is what we're going to do. She called me 2 weeks before the end of my program, the project management certificate, and was like, hey, just so you know, your program's finishing. Do you want to move into anything else so that you keep your GI Bill benefits coming? And I was like, yes, Queen. Yes, I absolutely do. And on that phone call, I then got a bunch of emails and was like, hey, now you're in your MBA program and here you go. The personal nature and just in terms of ease, that's been one of my biggest selling points for you guys. So it's fantastic.
Awesome. And I'm glad to hear that. Love to hear staff stories and Queen being highlighted all the time.
I would imagine.
She loves helping veterans. So we love her to, she's been doing it now for over a decade. So it's nice to know that her experience here has helped you greatly.
No, absolutely.
And are there any additional thoughts or final thoughts you'd like to share with any future students, whether they're veterans or non-veterans?
Always be learning. Education is a big step, especially no matter where you are. Even if you're in a bad spot, learning something new is never going to be a bad thing. If you're taking a step forward, a lot of times that's the first step towards success or overcoming whatever obstacle it is, because there's challenges and obstacles that everybody faces, right? Not all of them are, a substance abuse problem or a financial problem or whatever it is, but bettering yourself in some way, especially through education, is never going to be a bad thing.
I would like to personally thank you, Myles, on behalf of Lakewood University. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today. We really appreciate you sharing your story, which is inspiring. So thank you very much.